Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Great Malabite Efeni. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria Tundu MK Abiola.
Morning, Faith.
Bright, brilliant, blazer.
I love alliteration.
Efeni the romantic.
I love alliteration.
Yes.
Love it.
Now let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story: shock, anger, frail Daredevil attack on Nigeria's elite military university. Kill 2 officers, abduct 1. Officers in charge of CCTV allegedly slept off. ACF, that's the Arewa Consultative Forum, is a desecration. Northern elders want senior officials sacked, alleged intelligence failure. Rufai sad over attack, commiserates with victims' families. Military launches manhunt for assailants. Yes, this story is being reported by all the newspapers on my table this morning. Now, the Guardian, let's look at how the Guardian newspaper is reporting the story. NDA attack, slap on military. Yoruba Northern elders fume. Bandits contact NDA, demand 200 million naira ransom for abducted major. Source: Nigeria's security on reverse gear, says Arewa leaders. Group demands immediate overhaul of security architecture. Nigeria have lost hope in Buhari APC, says PDP. Now, the Punch newspaper also reporting this story. Outrage as uniform-wearing gunmen invade NDA. Errant officers to face trial. Terrorists in army uniform subdue military officers, kill 2, abduct 1. Our security architecture was compromised, says Nigerian Defense Academy. It's terrible. A big embarrassment to the nation. ACF, Sokapu, others lament, while the Daily Trust newspaper, why NDA's security was compromised. Bandits live peacefully near academy. Majority of troops posted elsewhere. Soldiers on guard mysteriously fell asleep. Invasion, a huge embarrassment. Experts. Now, we cannot get enough of this story. It's a sobering moment. It's an embarrassment to the nation that the military, the foremost military training institution, has been so breached. The security there breached. But one wonders how come the security there was not top-notch, there's no alertness in that environment. Because recall that the Afaka campus of the NDA is sandwiched between the Nigerian Air Force Base, Department of State Security Services Training School, and Kaduna Airport. All of them few minutes drive from the headquarters of the 1 division of the Nigerian Army. That axis remained a major security challenge to motorists and security agents. Well, recall that the school, the College of Forestry, is just adjacent. And some time ago, these so-called bandits went there and picked students. In fact, the last 15 of those students were released only recently. And the Nigerian Airports Authority quarters that was also breached and staff taken hostage also in that vicinity. So with all that happened in the recent past, you expect that that area should be impregnable and that there should be high level of alertness in the Nigerian Defense Academy. But certainly, that was not the case. But there are other theories that are also being unveiled as this story unfolds. How they went straight to some officers and were able to pluck them down. Was there an insider compromise? The army will have to get to the roots of this. But certainly, this is a big national embarrassment. You expect that soldiers, yes, who have put down their lives, ready to serve, to defend this nation, they've done great sacrifice, but you expect them to be alert all the time. From whatever distance, to even hear the buzz of bees at that time of the night. Then if there was staccato of gunshots, you expect that the close by one division should swing into action. Fortunately, no bandit was apprehended, none was killed. They took one officer with them. The fate of that officer still shrouded in mystery. Is he still alive? They're asking for ransom. But it's a problem. Reuben, Rufai, and Tundu. Let's discuss this story.
First, let's commiserate with the families of the officers that died. Major Dalong, that you just referred to, who was initially abducted. We had a conversation with Nisi Gabriel, a rights correspondent, and he confirmed that the latest information is that his body was found in a bush not too far away from the Nigerian Defense Academy. Lieutenant Commander Wula also died in the course of that attack on the NDA premises. And there was also Flight Lieutenant Okoronkwo, who also died. Another lieutenant, Lieutenant Ona, was wounded in that attack. And as you have said, I think nobody would disagree with you that this is very embarrassing. What we hear is that there's usually a 24-hour weekly duty officer in charge of the NDA. Now, what happened? Where was the duty officer? Even if the officers in charge of CCTV slept off, most conveniently. Okay, what of the 24-hour duty officer that is supposed to be in charge of the guards, of the security guards, manning that environment 24 hours? This is the kind of thing that happens. And, the rest of the world will laugh at us if, soldiers in training are not safe, if a strategic military formation like that is not safe, then perhaps you really cannot blame persons who have been saying certain persons should probably be relieved of their assignments. The NDA has a commandant. Now, is it that the commandant of the NDA does not consider the priority of the soldiers in training under his watch as important? And then, of course, I think we can stretch it all the way to also the Chief of Army Staff. The Chief of Army Staff has to look into this. And that's why I said earlier that it's not surprising that some people are even calling for the resignation of the National Security Advisor. But I'm not too sure that the National Security Advisor is directly involved in ensuring immediate security at the NDA. However, I said what even makes this more sensitive is if you look at the ethnic extraction, the ethnic identity of the persons involved. I've seen people making comment that, look, why is it that 2 Igbos were involved and 2 persons from Benue were involved in this matter? Is it only Igbos and Benue people, Middle Belt people, who live in the official quarters? And that's how these things go in Nigeria. And that's why it's important that we are all careful. And I hope that the military authorities will see the need to treat this with the seriousness that it deserves. We understand that a team has been put together to go after the terrorists. But you just reported now that those terrorists even have camps around within the perimeter or within the vicinity,
yes, the vicinity
of the Nigerian Defense Academy. Well, I mean, that would be a big scandal to hear that terrorists have been living comfortably along that axis.
Well, Tundu, maybe we just play down this ethnic coloration. Perhaps it's just coincidental that those officers that were gunned down were victims, were just these terrorists could just see at that moment, not necessarily directly targeting them because of where they come from.
Yes, but I mean, you know how things go in Nigeria.
Yes.
Most of the victims of bandits and terrorists, or bandits and or terrorists, because we'll use them interchangeably at the moment, have been northern Muslims. And that's just a sad fact of the matter. They're the ones who are suffering the most from this onslaught. They're the victims of the carnage. So I actually don't buy that ethnic dimension that's been introduced. But I guess it would be introduced because apart from a climate of fear, we're also in a climate of distrust where everything is suspicious or treated as suspicious. I also have my suspicions. I'm wondering if there was any kind of, connivance within the ranks of the military, because this audacious attack really is in nadir. I'm actually so tired of saying that, because every time we say this is the worst thing, this is the worst, and then shortly after, they demonstrate new lows to which they're prepared to take us in this country. And I just wonder how far we really have to fall.
Rufai, just before you come in, let's just look at a couple of other stories. Also on the front pages of Nigerian newspaper. The Daily Independent newspaper. Yes, the lead story is still on this attack. But the story beneath the photograph. PDP crisis festers as two deputy chairmen fight over secondus seat. Yes, the PDP getting deeper into the pit, if you will. The pit of crisis, perhaps, until they're able to pull that bull out of the china shop, wherever he is, in the PDP, and perhaps until they are ready to name those who are behind this crisis. It will continue. I hope it doesn't sink that party. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly, the Guardian of UK troops to leave within 24 to 36 hours. Britain evacuation from Kabul is expected to end within 36 hours because they are unable to convince Joe Biden for an extension. But if what the Washington Post is reporting is anything to go by, maybe Biden affirms August 31 exit from Afghanistan. Contingency plan also ordered. But yes, there's a contingency plan in place just in case they still have so many people to pick. But it's just adding to the confusion of the Biden policy. Despite the entreaties from allies, it seemed to be sticking to that date. Over to you, Rufai.
All right, so concerning the attack by the terrorists on the NDA, if you hear Nice's report, he said they specifically targeted those people. That when the terrorists came in, they went straight to the residential quarters. That's why we deliberately asked, was there sporadic gunfire? Because if it was just an attack, there should be a sporadic gunfire, and then they should go, to the hostel area.
Well, some other reports here saying that there was staccato of gunshots. And people living in the vicinity said they couldn't sleep after the gunshots died down.
But I'll take the report. I'll take the report of Arise correspondent Nisi Gabriel over everything here, because he said they specifically went to the quarters, the residential quarters, and they picked these people. My question is, why was it these people they picked out?
Well, we hope that the investigations will eventually establish the truth, and that the truth will be made public to address the fears of all the conspiracy theorists that have gotten involved in the analysis.